overload and make learning more effective. The framework sets for adoption in the 2025-2026 academic section outlines the number of subjects students will take. For details of this story, see the Hope newspaper with the headline FG unveils new subject for secondary school.
And yes, I'm still on the Hope newspaper. Another story coming through your ear. We have Oni marks 10th coronation with Global Cultural Festival. Now to the details of the story. Ile-Ife, the spiritual and cultural heart of the Yoruba nation, is set to host an extraordinary international gathering as the Oni of Ile-Ife, Oba Adeyeye Enitan Ogunwusi Ojaja II, celebrates his 10th coronation anniversary with a week-long cultural festival of global significance, themed 10 Years of Ashe, a Reign of Peace, Cultural and Unity. The anniversary celebration will take place from November 30 to December 7, 2025, transforming the ancient city into a melting pot of African heritage, Pan-African dialogue, and socio-economic empowerment. At a briefing held at the Ile-Oòduà Palace on Wednesday, the Ooni, represented by his queen, Olori Aderonke Ademulu Ogunwusi, his spokesperson, Otunba Moses, and members of the 10th Anniversary Planning Committee described the celebration as a global cultural homecoming. He said, and I quote, "This is a festival that honors the enduring legacy of the Yoruba people while positioning Ile-Ife as a beacon of African unity, history, and future of aspiration." The event is expected to draw a wider array of global dignitaries, including African head of states, foremost traditional rulers, and international scholars. Organizers said the festival is aimed at deepening Pan-African bonds, preserving cultural values, and promoting youth economic empowerment. But for more details of the story, you can check the Hope newspaper with the headline Oni marks 10th coronation with Global Cultural Festival.
And still on the Hope newspaper, where I have NCOS varsity partner on inmate rehabilitation. The federal government, the Federal Capital Territory Command of the Nigerian Correction Service is seeking to partner with the Yakubu Gowon University to expand educational and vocational opportunities for inmates. This was the focus of the courtesy visit on Tuesday by the Controller of Corrections for FCT, Christopher Jen, to the university's acting Vice Chancellor, Professor Adamu Matthew. According to the statement signed by the commander's spokesperson, Adamu Duza, on Wednesday, Jane emphasized the importance of engaging inmates in meaningful training and academic programs as part of the rehabilitation. He said, and I quote, "We want to ensure that our inmates are kept busy and acquire skills that will enable us sleep with our two eyes closed when they are discharged." He proposed that the university extend its open and distance learning programs into custodial centers, allowing inmates to access formal education while serving their sentence. For details of this story, see the Hope newspaper with the headline NCOS Varsity Partners on Inmate Rehabilitation.
And away from that to another story coming from the Punch newspaper, we have security concern behind visa cancellation for Nigerians, others, says US. Now to the detail of the story. The United States Embassy in Nigeria has clarified that the over 55 million foreign nationals, including Nigerians with valid US visas, have been screened as part of the new US security measures. The embassy explained that the US government is enforcing long-standing immigration laws to enhance national security and prevent the entry of individuals who may pose threats. The embassy clarified that in an email to the Punch in response to growing concerns over recent reports of sudden visa cancellation involving Nigerian citizens. This follows an opinion piece by the former spokesperson for the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, Olufemi Soneye, published by the Cable. In an article, Soneye revealed that he had reviewed at least 8 visa cancellation notices issued to Nigerian professionals, entrepreneurs, and among others. The notice reported reference Title 22 Code of the Federal Regulation Section 4.1 and cited new information which became available after the visas were issued. check more information on this story, you can check the Punch newspaper with the headline "Security Concern Behind Visa Cancellation for Nigerians, Orders Says US."
Still on the Open newspaper, where I have NECO to streamline English exam slashes questions from 100 to 80. The National Examination Council has announced a reduction in the number of objective questions for English Language Paper 3 in Senior Secondary Certificate Examination Internal. Effective from the 2026 SSC internal exam, the total number of questions will be reduced from 100 to 80. In an official notification made available to newsmen on Wednesday, signed by the state coordinator for Osun State, Sunday Bolaji, dated September 1st, 2025, stated that the new paper structure includes 6 sections, where we have the antonym 10 question, approximateness of register 10 question, appropriate interpretation of idioms, phrasal verb and foreign words 10 question, synonyms 10 question, grammatical structures 30 question, and closed text 10 question. The time allocated for paper 3 will also be adjusted to 50 minutes. This change aimed to streamline the examination process and enhance the testing experience for students. Previously, reports made available to newsmen on the August 29 stated NECO confirmed it will fully transition from the traditional paper and pen examination method to a computer-based testing system starting with the November-December 2025 SSC external examination. For details of the story, see the Open newspaper with the headline NECO to streamline English exam slashes questions from 100 to 80.
And if you are just joining, you are listening to In the Papers, a newspaper review program on iPower 102.7 FM, Emurele, or Ondo State. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll give you details of the further stories. Welcome back. You are still listening to In the Papers, the newspaper review program on iPower 102.7 FM, Emurele, or Ondo State. You can call us or connect with us via our studio line on our YouTube as well. You can call us on 081-6552-4699, 081-6552-4699. You can also connect with us via our YouTube by searching for iPower 102.7 FM to share your perspective and opinion about the programs and the headlines of the stories read so far. Moving on with the story coming from the Open newspaper as well, we have Ondo Assembly Agric Ministry strengthening tie on food security. Now to the detail of the story. The Ondo State House of Assembly has pledged to sustain agricultural intervention in the state as part of efforts to guarantee food security. The House Committee on Agriculture gave the assurance during a visit to the Ministry of Agriculture, stressing that Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa's commitment to food security deserves commendation. Led by its chairman, Fatai Atere, the committee noted that most of the programs introduced by the present administration have created jobs for youth and empowered women. Atere said the legislature shared the executive vision of ensuring that the state produces enough food for its citizens, adding that the Assembly will provide budgetary backing and enact law to further promote agribusiness, while urging the ministry to retrain forest guard for improved security. The lawmaker lauded the Commissioner for Agriculture, Engineer Leye Akinola, for starting on a strong note despite spending only 4 months in office. For further information on this story, you can check the Open newspaper with the headline Ondo Assembly Agric Ministry strengthening ties on food security.
And still on the Open newspaper, where I have IBOB Lawyer blames Igbo leader's silence for ECPA's atrocity in Southeast. The human rights lawyer and counsel for indigenous people of Biafra, Sir Ifeanyi Ejiofor, has said that the recent conviction and sentencing of Simon Ekpa by a court in Finland has once again exposed the strange blood and devastation flowing through the southeast region. In a statement released recently, Ejiofor blamed Igbo leaders and the political class in the region for their silence since Ekpa was convicted, saying their silence or covert association gave oxygen to Ekpa's fire of unleashing atrocities in the region. They described Ekpa as a serial fraudster masquerading as a liberator, whose actions have led the Southeast to bleed profusely from the devastation and carnage unleashed by him and his foot soldiers. He titled the statement Strange Blood in Alo, Igbo, where the pen becomes deadlier than the sword. The lawyer lamented after every bloody outing by his foot soldiers. Ekpa mounted his online pulpit not to console or condemn, but to celebrate each atrocity. According to him, for years, the Southeast region has bled profusely for the devastation and carnage unleashed by Ekpa and his foot soldiers, adding that no family, clan, nor kindred has been spared. For details of this story, see the Hope newspaper with the headline, IBOB lawyer blames Igbo leaders' silence for Ekpa's atrocity in Southeast.
Moving on with another story coming from the Punch newspaper as well. We have Tinubu. We have ex-minister predict Tinubu's victory in Southeast, downplays Peter Obi's. Now to the details of the story. We have former Minister of Communication Adebayo Shitu has expressed confidence that President Bola Tinubu will secure substantial vote from Southeast in 2027 election. Speaking in an interview with Arise News on Wednesday, Shitu dismissed suggestion that the so-called Obi's factor would dent the president's prospects in the region. He said voters in Southeast were shifting toward All Progressive Congress, and he said, he quote, and I said, if you know the amount of votes that will be coming from even the Southeast for APC, you will be shocked. He mentioned that the influence of figures such as Senate President Godswill Akpabio and Work Minister Dave Umahi, who will persuade voters to come and vote for Tinubu. For more information on the story, you can check the Punch newspaper with the headline 2027. Ex-minister predicts Tinubu's victory in Southeast, downplays Obi's influence.
And straight to the Punch newspaper, where I have my reforms has restored Nigeria's global respect, says Tinubu. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Tuesday said his administration bold economic reforms which aim to restore Nigeria is inevitable position on achieving favorable results. He added that the country's economy is now stable and attracting interest from around the world. The bleeding has stopped. Hemorrhage is gone. The patient alive, Tinubu said when he received the son of Ogbomosho land, Oba Gandhi Olaoye III, in audience with some other royal fathers at the State House, Abuja. The special advisor to the President on Information and Intelligence, Bayo Onanuga, disclosed details of the meeting in a statement he signed on Wednesday titled, In Just 2 Years, Nigeria is Now Respected Globally. President Tinubu also added, years of neglect and self-deception, fake record, smuggling, and all that has denied Nigeria the necessary revenue for progress and development. Then we were confronted again with the average trading of currency on illusion of selling paper, corruption, and all over the place. and the integrity of the country and its economy begins extremely and adversely changed. For details of the story, see the Punch newspaper with the headline, My Reforms Has Restored Nigerians' Respect Globally, says Tinubu.
Still moving on with another story coming from the Punch newspaper, we have Edo deployed 300 motorbikes for forest patrols. Now to the detail of the story. Edo State Governor Monday Okpebolo has handed over 300 motorbikes to security agencies in the state. Okpebolo said the motorbikes are specifically designed to support security agencies in accessing hard-to-reach terrains, particularly forest areas where criminal elements often seek refuge. This was contained in a statement released on Wednesday by the Chief Press Secretary to Governor Fred Utaya while distributing the motorbikes to security agency in the 3 senatorial districts of the state. The governor retreated that criminals would have no hiding place in Edo State. The handover, which took place at the government house in Benin City on Tuesday, attracted top security and government stakeholders, including Edo State Commissioner of Police Monday Agbonike and Commander of the 4th Brigade Nigerian Army, where Brigadier General Ebenezer Odunyebo and the Chief of Staff to the Governor Gani Audu, among others. For further information on this story, you can check the Punch newspaper with the headline Edo deploys 300 motorbikes for forest patrols.
And straight to this day newspaper where I have Senator Ekpenyong backs suicide prevention bill as 16 Nigerians die every year. 16,000 Nigerians die every year by suicide. Now the details. Senator Asuku Ekpenyong, representing Cross River South Senatorial District, has reaffirmed his commitment to advancing the suicide prevention bill currently before the Senate. The bill, which passed its first reading in February, seeking to decriminalize attempted suicide and establish a comprehensive framework for suicide prevention and mental health support in Nigeria. The Senate made this known when it received members of the Suicide Prevention Advocacy Working Group, a coalition of psychiatrists, experts, mental health practitioners, legal experts, civil society organizations, and advocates, who paid him a courtesy visit in Abuja to appreciate his sponsorship of the bill and to brief him on the upcoming activities ahead of the World Suicide Prevention Day, September 10th. Speaking during this visit, Professor Taiwo Latif Shekin, convener of the coalition, continental representative of the Lifeline International, a former president of the Association of Psychiatrists in Nigeria, said the law criminalizing attempted suicide has become a major barrier to help seeking in the country. For details of the story, see This Day newspaper with the headline, Senator Ekpenyong backs suicide prevention bill as 16,000 Nigerians die every year by suicide.
Another story coming from the Daily Post newspaper, we have Stop Embarrassing PDPs with Your Condition, Ibrahim tells Wiki. Now to the detail of the story. Deputy National Publicity Secretary of the People Democratic Party, Abdullahi Ibrahim, has criticized the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Nelson Wike, accusing him of embarrassing the party with his repeated interference. Speaking in an interview with Arise News on Wednesday, Ibrahim said Wike's decision to issue 6 conditions ahead of the party's forthcoming national convention was outrageous, especially as he is currently serving in an all-progressive Congress government. He said, and I quote, "Why are you coming up with 6 conditions? You are giving PDV condition, and the entire country is laughing at us, all because of one individual who is on the APC payroll. Enough is enough. We have to draw the line. It cannot continue like this." For further information on the story, you can check the Daily Post newspaper with the headline, "Stop Embarrassing PDP with Your Condition, Ibrahim tells Wike."
You're still listening to iPower 102.7 FM, and the program is in the papers. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll continue with the rest of the stories. Psychiatric You're still listening to High Power 102.7 FM, and the program is In the Papers. To reach us on feedback and contribution, the studio line is 0816 552 4699. 0816 552 4699. And back to the stories where I have with me on the Punch newspaper, all states need to ban non-reusable textbooks. As school resumes this September for the long vacation, parents in Imo, Benue, Anambra, and Ondo State have reasons to feel relieved. This benefit comes with a new ban on the use of no transferable textbooks. This policy allows used school books to be passed down to younger siblings or other students, reversing a practice that has previously forced parents to buy new textbooks every academic session. The aim is to make textbooks reusable, especially for younger siblings progressing to higher classes. The shift is expected to ease financial pressure on households and promote sustainability in education. Benue State pioneered this initiative 3 weeks ago, according to Ellen Naptiv, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Education and Knowledge Management. The decision is intended to reduce the economic strain on families and reinforce attention on children's academic development. For details of the story, see the Punch newspaper, where it reads, all states need to ban non-reusable textbooks.
Moving on with another story coming from the Daily Post newspaper as well. We have, I tried restoring peace between Kwakwanso, Ganduje, says Kano Rep Jubrin. Now to the details of the story. A member of the House of Representatives from Kano State, Abdulmumin Jibrin, has disclosed how he tried to resolve the rift between former National Chairman of All Progressive Congress, APC, Abdullahi Ganduje, and ex-presidential candidate of the New Nigerian People's Party, NPP, Rabiu Kwakwanso. Jibrin said his attempt to restore peace between Ganduje and Kwakwanso failed. Featuring on Channels Television Politics Today on Wednesday, the NNPP chieftain said only two former governors of Kano State can resolve their differences. He recalled how Ganduje insulted him in the past. Jibrin said, and I quote, everyone knows that I have always advocated even rights from the beginning of the government for national unity, and I never stopped at that. I felt insulted myself by Ganduje. Everybody knew what happened, but I still tried to ensure that there was some sort of peace between him and Ganduje. For further information on the story, you can check the Daily Post newspaper with the headline, I tried restoring peace between Kwakwanso, Ganduje, says Kano Rep Jubrin.
And straight to this day newspaper, where we have Tinubu pushes for state police, hails civilian joint task force. Now the details. President Bola Tinubu yesterday reviewed the security situation in the Northeast geopolitical zone, saying the efforts of the civilian joint task force is in curbing insecurity in the region and further reinforced his belief in the creation of state police. This is coming on the wheel of the Northern Elder Forum call on the president to declare a state of emergency in the northern Nigeria, citing the extraordinary scale of insecurity and the government's constitutional and international obligation to protect lives. In the same vein, Governor Dauda Lawal of Zamfara State has said that banditry will become history in the state in just 2 months if he had control over the federal security outfit, stressing that he is aware of the movement of every bandit kingpin operating in the state. Tinubu also commended the resilience and collaboration of governors in the Northeast zone, noting that despite daunting security and developmental challenges, the region had recorded remarkable progress in stabilization, resettlement, and social services. For details of the story, see this day newspaper with the headline Tinubu pushes for state police, hails civilian joint task force.
Away from that to the Nation newspaper, where I have this story coming through your ear, we have Tinubu's victory in 2027 sure, says Abdul Mumin. Now to the detail of the story. President Bola Tinubu is good enough and will be re-elected in the 2027, House of Representative member Abdul Mumin Jibrin said last night. The lawmaker representing Bebeju Kiru Federal Constituency Kano on the platform New Nigerian Party NPP spoke on national television. According to him, it is unfair and incorrect to blame the president for the nation's woes, saying Tinubu has performed credibly. He denied insinuation that the North is against the president's re-election, saying it is indigenous to say Northern won't vote for him. Jibrin, a fourth-time rep previously elected on the ticket of the All Progressive Congress, says NNPP leader Rabiu Kwakwanso is open to alliance talk with President Tinubu ahead of the 2027 election. He said, and I quote, "I believe I cannot see anything that would stop him from winning the election in 2027. There is no two way about it. I am a Tinubu person. I like him. He likes me. Irrespective of party affiliation, it has been a great relation." For further information on this story, check the Nation newspaper with the headline Tinubu's victory in 2027 sure, says Abdul Mumin.
Also on the Nation newspaper, where I have parts to ending ASU strikes. The Academic Union of Universities ASU has warned of an implementing nationwide strike. This is not the first time the union would be at a loggerhead with the federal government on long-running battle bordering on enhanced welfare package. In the latest move, the union is set to embark on an industrial action if the government continues to ignore the long-standing agreement and the realization for proper funding of the Nigerian's public universities. ASU President Christopher Piwana stated that lecturers had endured over 2 years of unfulfilled promises and delay tactics by the government. Christopher listed unresolved issues which included the renegotiation of the 2009 ASU federal government agreement, outstanding salary arrears, withheld promotional and welfare of retired lecturers. At a news conference which was held recently, the general public should also note that ASU had written several letters to the federal government drawing its attention to the need to resolve the crisis amicably. Lamentably, the federal government has always turned a deaf ear to all our pleas. As always, it is the federal government that has consistently pushed our union to embark on a strike action, and it is clear that ASU may have no other option than to embark on the action to press the federal government to listen to our demand and do the needful. For details of this story, see the Nation newspaper with the headline Path to Ending ASU Strikes.
Similarly, from what I read so far, another story coming from the Punch newspaper as well. We have the 2027 ex-minister predict Tinubu's victory in Southeast downplays Obi influence. Now to the detail of the story. Former Minister of Communication Adebayo Shitu has expressed confidence that President Bola Tinubu will secure substantial vote from the Southeast in the 2027 election. Speaking in an interview with Arise News on Wednesday, Shitu dismissed suggestion that the so-called Obi factor would dent the president's prospects in the region. He said voters in the Southeast were shifting toward the All Progressive Congress. He said, and I quote, "If you know the amount of votes that will be coming from the Southeast for APC, you will be shocked." For more information on this story, you can check the Punch newspaper with the headline 2027 ex-minister predicts Tinubu's victory in Southeast, downplays Obi's influence.
And still on the Punch newspaper, where I have non-oil revenue jumps at 40% to 20.6 trillion naira, says presidency. The presidency has said Nigeria is firmly on track to meet the annual non-oil revenue target. A statement signed on Wednesday by the president's special advisor on information and strategy, Bayo Ononuga, cited new figures showing a sharp rise in collections driven by fiscal reforms, tax compliance, and digitalized revenue system. The statement was titled Nigerians' Non-Oil Revenue Power's Strongest Fiscal Performance in Recent History. According to the data released for January to August 2025, non-oil revenue rose to 20.59 trillion naira, up to 40.5% from the 14.6 trillion naira recorded during the same time in 2024. The presidency said this represented the strongest fiscal performance in the Nigerians' recent history. Nigeria's fiscal foundation are being reshaped for the first time in decades. Oil is no longer the dominant driver of the government revenue, says Ononuga. The president credited the increase to structural reform, including improved enforcement, customs, automation, and digital task filling, adding that the task ahead is to ensure these gains are felt in better schools, hospitals, roads, and jobs. For details of the story, see the Punch newspaper with the headline Non-oil revenue jumps at 40% to 20.6 trillion naira, says the presidency.
And if you are just joining, you are listening to In the Papers, a newspaper review program on iPower 102.7 FM, Emurele, Owo, Ondo State. You can connect with us and share your perspective about the stories, headlines, and the news coming through your ear so far. You can call us and reach out to us on 081 6552 4699. 081 6552 4699. Moving on with another story coming from the Daily Post newspaper, we have 2027 ADC coalition leaders could not answer 99% of our questions, says SDP's Adebayo. Now to the detail of the story. Ahead of the 2027 race for the nation's top seat, the presidential candidate of the Social Democratic Party, SDP, in the 2023 election, Adewale Adebayo, has warned Nigerians against politicians that change parties without changing their political tendencies, insisting that only new politicians with fresh idea would bring about the change they have been yearning for. In this interview with journalists, he spoke on a wide range of issues, including the Nigerians must do to get it right in the 2027. He also explained why the opposition coalition could not adopt the SDPs as their political platform. Ikechukwu Sunday was there for the Daily Post newspaper. Recently, in the Independent Electoral Commission, INEC asked political parties to desist from any sort of campaign until 150 days to the election, in line with the electoral law. But a member of ruling All Progressive Congress, APC, Farouk Aliyu, has tackled INEC for failing to wield the big stick against the 14 parties. He said, and I quote, "What is your stance on what the political parties are doing and INEC role so far?" For more information on this story, you can check the Daily Post newspaper with the headline 2027 ADC coalition leaders could not answer 99% of our questions, says SDP's Adebayo.
And still on this day newspaper, where I have Nigeria commends Akin Fadeyi Foundation. Now the details. The United States Mission in Nigeria has commended the Akin Fadeyi Foundation-led anti-corruption advocacy project called Corruption Not in My Country. This was contained in a tweet on the Mission X handle, formerly Twitter. The international agency gave the shout out to the foundation's Corruption Not in My Country campaign for promoting transparency and accountability. The convener of the project, Akim Fadeyi, in his response, expressed gratitude to the United States Mission for its recognition. He said, "All of us at the Akim Fadeyi Foundation are encouraged by this recognition. We have an irrevocable commitment to consolidate on our little win, even with the redoubled effort, as we redouble effort aimed at more robust citizen engagement that will galvanize the collective competence of our people against prevailing decadence. We shall continue to do this through the innovative and relatable approach. Our rise to the little fame is not without the intriguing support of the foundation led by Dr. Ko Shetima and his deputy Aminat. We are not less grateful to the Nigerian media outlets for their partnership and a host of others. Through this support, we have thrived. We are certain that our mentor from the foundation Chicago office are also proud to share this in the U.S. mission recognition of the work we do and in which she shall be heavily invested." For details of this story, see this day newspaper with the headline U.S. Mission appreciate Nigeria commends Akim Fadeyi Foundation.
And if you are just joining, you are listening to In the Papers, a newspaper review program on iPower 2.7 FM. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll give you details of the further stories. I like it. Okay, we'll just do that one and we'll have the headlines. Let me do the last one. I can read too. Welcome back. You are still listening to In the Papers, the newspaper review program on iPower 102.7 FM in Morelli or Ondo State. You can connect with us to share your perspective, your opinion about the stories read so far on 081 6552 4699. 081 6552 4699. Moving on with another story coming from the Punch newspaper. I have Nigerian focus on World Cup qualifier says Trust Ekong. Now to the detail of the story. Super Eagles captain William Trust Ekong has spoken highly of the team mentally and awareness as they continue preparation for the two crucial 2026 World Cup qualifier against Rwanda and South Africa, having won just one of their 6 last matches in the ill-fated qualifying series. The Super will host Rwanda at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium on Saturday, needing a win to keep their dream alive before traveling to South Africa to face the Bafana 3 days later. Nigerians' hope of reaching the 2026 tournament in the USA, Canada, and Mexico also hangs on a potential point deduction for group leader South Africa, who fielded an eligible player against Lesotho in March. But before then, Trust Ekong and his teammates must put their destiny in their hands by winning their remaining matches in the series. For further information on this story, check the Punch newspaper with the headline Nigerian focus on World Cup qualifier says Trust Ekong.
And still on the Punch newspaper, where I have man to undergo psychiatric test for attempting suicide in Anambra. Now the details. The Anambra State Police Command has said it has directed a mental evaluation for a 28 years old man who attempted to take his own life by climbing a power transmission high tension pole in the Awada area of the state. According to the command's public relations officer, Tofechuku Ikenga, in a statement on Wednesday, the incident occurred on Tuesday evening. Ikenga noted that upon receipt of the information, police operatives mobilized to the scene condoning of the area and persuaded the victim. It stated, Anambra State Police operative attached to the Awada Division in the evening of the 2nd September 2025 successfully rescued a man who attempted to commit suicide by climbing a power transmission high tension pole situated behind Grace of God Mission off Nepa Road, Awada. Upon receiving the distress information, the operative swiftly mobilized to the scene, condoning of the area and prevented danger and controlled the large crowd that had gathered. After several minutes of persuasion by the police and some concerned public members, the man climbed down safely and was immediately taken to the protective custody at the station. For details of the story, see the Punch newspaper with the headline, Man to undergo psychiatric test for attempting suicide in Anambra.
And lastly, from my side as well, we have another story coming from the Hope newspaper. We have Oyebanji pledged stronger support for FRSE in Ekiti. Now to the detail of the story. Ekiti State Governor Mr. Biodun Oyebanji has expressed satisfaction with the activities of the Federal Road Safety Corps (FRSC) Ekiti State Command, assuring the agency of more robust collaboration in its drive to ensure effective traffic management and significant reduction in road accidents. The governor, who stated this while receiving in audience the new sector commander Ekiti State Command, Corps Commander Shanya Adeoye, at the governor's office, Ekiti stressed the need for FRSC to continue to improve on its current pace of traffic management by organizing regular interface with commercial transporters in an effort to further reduce road accidents to bare minimum. The governor further maintained that the state government under his leadership will continue to support activities of the FRSC in the state, adding that he will find a way around their request, which he believes he will further strengthen their efforts to achieve better results. For more information on the story, check the Hope newspaper with the headline, Oyebanji pledges stronger support for FRSC in Ekiti State. And that concludes our story for today. We'll just give you a recap of the stories we've read so far, and while during the recap, you can connect and share your perspective about any of the topic read to you so far on 081 6552 4699. 081 6552 4699. Starting from you.
And we told you that from the Hope newspaper, federal government unveils new school curriculum with fresh subjects.
And also we brought to your ear that 2027 ex-minister predicts Tinubu's victory in Southeast.
And still on the Hope newspaper, we also read to you that the NCOS varsity to partner on inmate rehabilitation.
And also sailing through the Punch newspaper, we brought to you that the Nigerian focus on World Cup qualifiers, says Trust Ekong.
And we all equally told you from the nation, from the Hope newspaper, that NECO to streamline English exam slashes question from 100 to 80.
We also brought to you that Oyebanji pledges strong support for FRSE.
And still on the Hope newspaper, where we read to you that IPOP lawyer blames Igbo leader's silence for EPA's atrocity in the Southeast.
We also brought to you from the Punch newspaper that security concern behind visa cancellation for Nigerians orders in US.
And equally on This Day newspaper, where we read to you that Nigeria commends Akin Fadeyi's foundation.
We also brought to you that Oni marks 10th coronation with Global Culture Festival.
And that is how far we can go on today's edition of In the Papers. I am Florence Ibarima.
I am ABDULRASAQ Alawi. Many thanks for listening. Good morning and do have a productive day.